Greetings, welcome. Hopefully you're able to hear me on the call. This is Christine Van Pelt, State Coordinator for the Indiana Assembly, and it is Sunday, May the 4th, 2025, and the Indiana Assembly is in session, and we will go ahead and start with taking a moment to honor our Creator. All right. As you're coming in, please go ahead and put your name and the county you live on in the chat so we can make sure we welcome you to the call as well as get it in the minutes. Having on the screen here, hopefully you should be able to see it, I was sent an email from an Indianian on Lake County. Still hasn't presented their status correction yet, but they are they had at least created their LRO account. And they sent me this email, photo in this email that says Galatians 5. I say then, live by the Spirit, and you will certainly not gratify the desire of the flesh. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. So I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. He also added in the comments that are in the subject to stay vigilant and meek. So we want to make sure, because crazy things are going on. All right, sound is fine, great. Wayne and Terry on Miami, welcome. How are you all dealing with all this weather? Lots of rain. Yeah, it's been off and on, but everybody's okay, right? Hopefully everything is good. All right, welcome Sarah on Allen County. All fine except sound on computer. Are you hearing me? Sarah on Allen. Awesome. We have Cindy on St. Joseph County. Oh, you just can't use your mic. Okay, sounds all right. I gotcha. All right. I did, because we see you on the screen there, Cindy. Even though we all make sure that we post our name and county in the chat, or at least speak up and acknowledge that you're here, so we can make sure, because you will be included on the minutes for the agenda. All right, as I was saying, this photo was sent to me by an Indianian on Lake County, reminding me to stay vigilant and meek. Galatians 5, I say then, live by the Spirit, and you will certainly not gratify the desire of the flesh. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. All right. We do have in the chat the Bivens decision. So we want to make sure, I'll stop this so we can go ahead to that. Oh, it's on this. Stop, so I can close that out. Oh, I'll take a minute to go ahead. I want to show you one more thing. Because a little bit ago I was on LinkedIn real quick. And let me screen share. This is from, I don't follow this person, Dave Klein, on LinkedIn, but he shared this, and I wanted to share it with everyone. Let me see about a screen share here. I don't know if it has sound, but we'll see how that goes. Move this out of the view. I guess I could read it here. I thought it was perfect. Hopefully that little bottom thing will disappear some. Okay. No one is coming to save you. Your entire life will change the day you realize that it's all on you. No one's coming to save you. No one will fix your problems. No one will change your mindsets. No one will hand you the things you want in life. It's just you. It's all on you. There's a power in that. That things you've always wanted to do, go do it. I often wonder how many extraordinary people waste their entire lives fearing the judgment of people who were never even thinking about them. Nobody is thinking about you. Everybody's too busy thinking about themselves. Go do the damn thing. The key to life, show up. Show up when it's hard. Show up when it's messy. Show up when no one's watching. Show up when you don't feel like it. Show up when the rewards are uncertain. Just show up. You can never bet against the person who just keeps showing up. Hard things don't get easier. You get stronger. You grow. You change. You become different. And if you show up for long enough, somewhere along the way you fall in love with the struggle. You find peace in chaos, true flow. That is the magic of life. Fear comes from inexperience, not incapability. You're afraid because you haven't done it yet, not because you can't do it. Inexperience is the problem to be solved, and it's solved through having the courage to act. Your entire life will change when you realize that stress and anxiety feed on idleness. When you take action, you starve them of the oxygen they need to survive. The answer is found in the action. You can get pretty damn far in life by just being someone people can count on to show up and do the work. Reliability is the cheat code. Stop overcomplicating success. Show up, do the work, repeat. That's it. The people you admire are just the ones who had the courage to start. The ones who didn't overthink it, the ones who put their ego aside, the ones who walk toward uncertainty. The answer is found in the action. Your entire life will change when you realize that anything above zero compounds. Showing up consistently matters more than showing up perfectly. Small things become big things. Never allow optimal to get in the way of beneficial. There is a cost of entry to unlock the things you want in life. Freedom is unlocked through focus. Love is unlocked through hard conversations. Health is unlocked through discipline. Embrace it. Pay the cost of entry with pride. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. Good things don't come to those who wait. Good things come to those who have the courage to act. The life you want is on the other side of the permission you give yourself to live it. I just thought that fits perfectly with what we're doing here on Indiana, that we all need to actively show up. That's the first step of making any of this happen, is to actually show up and stop just waiting around for somebody else to do all the work. And that's what a lot of people are still in that mindset from the U.S. citizen status, is they feel, well, there's somebody else out there that's supposed to do the work. But freedom isn't free. You have to do the work. Just thought that was poignant for all of what we're trying to work through here. I see there's someone else on the call. Can you please go ahead and give us your name and what county you're on so we can make sure and include you in the agenda minutes? If you're on, it's *6 to mute and unmute. You will need to present yourself or you will be removed from the call. *6. There you go.
Hello?
Hello. Hi. Who do we have on the call?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who do we have?
Okay, this is Antonio Rodriguez in Porter County.
Porter County? All right.
Yes.
Welcome. How are you doing up there?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing over there?
I'm down south of you, but and we have others that are on the west side with us this evening. And how did you do through all this rain?
I'm doing good. Did we have a free conference call yesterday?
Outreach call was up.
Yeah, 'cause I tried 4 or 5 different numbers and it wouldn't let me on.
No, the outreach call was
No.
there. The link is on the website as well as it was in the email.
Right. Well, I tried different numbers. I tried different numbers. That one was from Dakota and the other one was in Colorado, and no answer. I put the codes in, the access code.
I don't know about it gave you in the thing of how to be able to ask. That's on free conference call side. That's not on this side of the assembly. So.
Okay. Well, I just thought I'd let you know. I tried several times. I tried for a good.
Were you able to?
6 o'clock.
Were you at least able to go to the recording afterwards? Well, the call started.
Well, nobody answered. There was nobody there. They was waiting for a host to show, and nobody showed.
The call started 7 o'clock Eastern, or Central, 7 o'clock Central, as well as the playback link is on the website that has the recording to play back.
Well, I'm here now, so.
Right, yes, good job. All right, that's important. Moving forward, what's technology?
Okay, I sent the notices to the sheriffs.
Great. Okay, so you can always email me those, what notices you sent and the and how you that you mailed it, right? And so that and proof of that, and it can be I can post it on the website.
Okay, well I don't know if you wanted a date, but I got the car back and everything. I sent the 6 notices, same as Miami sent. In Miami County, and I got my green card back from them.
Oh, great. Okay, so send a scan of what you sent and the green card showing the proof of mailing, and I'll get it posted up on the website so that we have it reflected. The county's getting noticed. Awesome. Good. Thank you. And those get posted on the website on public record.
Okay.
It'll have at the top, it says notices to sheriff and link there, and then you'll see what counties we've already that have already sent, and when you send that, I'll put it up as well for Porter County, showing that we've been noticing the counties. That's great.
I seen Carroll in Miami County on there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So far, that's where we're at.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and get things going so we can get things moving along. Let me screen share here. All right, so we'll go ahead with, even though the Bivens decision is in the chat, which those on call are not going to be able to see it in the chat. We're seeking a marshal at arms or a moderator for the assembly or a assembly chair, and all have to be citizens in order to step up into those roles. And so until we have those roles filled, this meeting is private to all ASNs or ASCs and those invited. The Bivens Declaration is in effect, and it's the responsibility of each man or woman to announce their presence per the Bivens Declaration. It is also the responsibility of each man or woman to identify and know the classic signs of agent provocateurs and infiltrators. This important information is posted in the meeting chat. Is there any response to the Bivens decision? Hearing none, we may proceed with our scheduled meeting agenda. We do have our disclaimer. We are engaged in the practice of self-government. Everyone here is volunteering their precious time and skill. Each one is an American with rights and prerogatives equal to their own. They are doing this work out of mutual necessity to restore the lawful American government. Demands for services, temper tantrums, and misplaced anger are inappropriate. This country does not belong to its government. This country belongs to the people who live here, and you are one of them. And we want to remind ourselves, honest challenge of teach yourself not to lie. Be truly fearless. So if you don't have any lies, you're not trying to figure out, well, who'd you tell what to, and so, because that automatically sets you in a paranoia because you can't remember who you told what to. Just tell the truth. All right, agent provocateur and infiltrator. Definition of an agent provocateur: one employed to associate with suspected persons and by pretending sympathy with their aims to incite them to some incriminating action. Examples, and of course, wouldn't you know it that they use, this is the example right out of Wikipedia, the government used agent provocateurs to try to undermine the opposition party. Infiltrator, a noun. Synonyms of infiltrator: informer, stool pigeon, counter spy, double agent, sleeper, spy master, super spy, courier, agent, asset, emissary, intelligencer, mole, operative, spook, spy, undercover. A lurker is a noun, one that lies hidden in or as if in ambush, a lurker in the shadows. It troubled me that there should have been a lurker on the stairs on the night of all nights in the year. And that was from Charles Dickens. So what are the classic signs? Attack the leaders, coordinator, Anna James, and her husband James. A lot of times it's because they just don't like the coordinator, because the coordinator is holding them accountable and responsible for presenting the material. And a lot of times they don't want to be held accountable. They just want to say, hey, I'm an American, you should just go ahead and accept it. And we still have to verify, right? Attack the foundational elements. I just was in an email stream where someone was complaining about the paperwork process. It was too much. The paperwork process has been the same for status correction since before I came in. So the only difference is you can do a 1779 as a national or the 928s as a citizen. Everything else, all the cancellation letters, all of that's been the same. Presenting 2 witness testimonies, that's always been the same. Presenting birth certificate, presenting some form of identification to identify who you are. Hasn't changed. Attack any progress made so far. Attack assembly ability to make money, where we're all volunteers. But then it also does the revert, is that so many just assume that there's money that comes on a regular basis, just like the federal government and with the state of states, that they've got money just coming directly. If you would, go ahead and mute your mic, *6, so that way it doesn't interfere, so we can get a clean recording. They want to divide and conquer. Gossip. A lot of times they try to spread gossip amongst each other and try to then start huddling around and having smaller groups outside to separate from the assembly when there's only one lawful assembly for each state. This is the one for Indiana. Many want to try accusing others of what they're doing themselves, attempt to set up a gravy train out of assembly members, hold secret meetings with secret agendas, try to hijack the meeting agenda. Many will try to come in and try to go on a topic that has absolutely nothing to do with what's on the agenda. elect themselves in several different offices. Well, the situation here is where people are not stepping up to even be elected into roles. So that's where we need people to show up, to start coming, to start getting involved, start speaking up. Don't just hang around, just waiting around. You're actually acting like a lurker, just waiting around, and not actually bringing something forward to the table about trying to bring forward some problem solving. All right, and then there's the article link that goes, that's just the top 13. And that article was written 2019, 2020, and those were already being, we were already experiencing that on the assemblies. All right, the mission statement. Our Indiana Assembly is dedicated to the restoration of a complete and fully operational land and soil jurisdiction state and county court system serving the people of Indiana, the preservation of the national trust, the enforcement of the public law, the upholding of the federal constitution owed to our state and people, the repopulation of our land and soil jurisdiction, the filling of vacated public offices, and the reclamation of our material and intellectual public and private assets. To these ends, we, the living people of Indiana, have called the eligible Indiana nationals and citizen electors to assemble and to serve as jurors and officers, and we've established the process and procedure to qualify jurors and others competent to hold state citizenship in public office. We do this peacefully and without rancor in the exercise of our unincorporated powers and capacities. So this is where many are misunderstanding. They think, well, somebody else is going to step up into these roles and they'll just wait around. But it's actually, we the people means we the people actually step up. It means you all have to step up on the committees. Until we have people on the litigation committee, we've got a lot of people in Indiana that are dealing with court issues, sitting in jail. With issues going on, that we have no litigation committee to be able to, for them to be able to give information to for the Indiana to give information to the litigation committee to try and step up and support them. We have no one to do that right now because no one stepped up to support in that way. And that's a way you can be able to help. But you have to have canceled all the contracts. That also means not just getting the declaration of political status notarized and recorded on your in your member record, but you've also got to mail it with the cover letters to the U.S. Secretary of State, the Assistant Secretary of Consular Affairs. It's that Assistant Secretary of Consular Affairs that helps if you're wanting to go forward with any U.S. passport, as far as how many stars you're going to have on that passport. And then you also send it to your birth state Secretary of State. All right? So and this is so that you've canceled all the contracts so that you're not putting the assembly and those that are supporting the assembly at risk. Because there's many that want to, well, I want to do this part, but I don't want to do this part, and say they want to help support things, but then you can't support until you've followed the process, okay? And that's for the safety of everyone. If you want to haphazardly pick and choose what you want to include and what you don't want to include, that's the territorial municipal assemblies, and they can support you with that, but it's not what works here on the land and soil. And we are populating our land and soil as Indianians present their status correction, even just the minimum. The 2 witness testimonies, birth certificate 1779 to present as being nationals, that is populating the county. And then also, as it's the soil is the county and the state is the land. So you're doing both at the same time. All right, while we're here, let me go ahead and get in the agenda. We have Sarah on Allen, and we'll go to Miami. is Wayne and Terry. And we have Antonio on Porter. And we have Cindy on St. Joe. Anybody else on the call that I'm missing that I need to get in here? All right. We'll go ahead and keep going. All right.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, it is Antonio and Porter. I sent those notices to Blinken and to Reno, but I never received nothing back from them.
Well, you may not, but your postage receipt, because you should have sent it preferably registered mail or at least certified mail, so you'll have a postage receipt. Yeah, include that with a copy of your cover letter and the declaration of political status that you sent, and then I can get that updated in your record for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and skip through some of this stuff because it's all been in here for months and months and months. Key things are assembly roles that we need volunteers for. And I've got more detail of a Marshal at Arms Pro Tem because that is a big one that we need to help with supporting the assembly. So let me pause here and do the video that I have. Hold on. Stop screen share. Oh, that's here. And now we'll go to this share in the broadcaster. Go ahead and *6 so we can go ahead and get this going. Your government. Your government is supposed to be staffed by you. Its decisions are supposed to be made by. That's right. You guessed it. You. Its primary responsibility is to protect you and your property assets at all costs against all comers. That's why governments exist. And that is the only reason for any government to exist. Ever. But what if your government doesn't protect you? What if instead your government preys upon you, threatens you, harasses you, and makes you miserable and fearful? Then something is terribly wrong. 6 generations of Americans have been preyed upon, threatened, and harassed by something posing as their government. It isn't our government. It's a substitute government run by 2 federal subcontractors. So these people are employees indirectly, but they're being told what to do by foreign governments controlled by foreign principles. The Holy See, the British monarch, and the Lord Mayor of London. Those foreign governments are under contract to provide us with certain enumerated governmental services. They've been exercising our own delegated powers and operating in our names. They're supposed to operate under the limitations in accordance with their employment contracts called the Constitutions. Instead, they've been colluding to evade their obligations under the Constitutions. And they've been misdirecting our employees to racketeer against us and to misidentify our political status, to impersonate us, and to defraud us. So instead of protecting us, these hired helpers have operated in breach of trust and harmed us. They've done exactly the opposite of what your government is supposed to do. But do you notice something? Do you see what's missing? You are. You are supposed to be self-governing. You are supposed to be running your government, not your hirelings. So we noticed what was wrong a long time ago, and we dusted off our laurels and we got to work. And we talked to our friends and neighbors, those who would listen, and we explained what was wrong, and we learned more as we went. And we organized the government we're supposed to have. Your government. There's just one problem. We are supporting it. We are putting it, our time and money into it. We are building it up and restoring it. We're doing our job. But where are you? If you want a government that protects you, a government that doesn't steal from you, harass you, threaten you, or harm you, then it's high time that you start backing your government. And participating in it and supporting it with your money and your skills and your time. When you can come home to the land and soil that bore you and start breathing as a free woman or man again, you will remember the American dream. And you will no longer bear the burdens of federal U.S. citizenship. You won't be subject to foreign statutory laws. You won't worry about federal agents breaking down your doors. You won't pay federal income taxes anymore. You will have little or no reason to ever visit their courts. You will possess your homes and your land and soil as freeholders, not tenants. You won't pay any mortgages or utilities or property taxes. You will be in control of your own lives again. Now think about that and know that your government is what guarantees these results. What's more important than what we've just described for you? What greater profit can you realize by investing in anything else? TheAmericanStatesAssembly.net. Thank you. Oh, I thought that was going to be the merged one that had the, but that one was needed to play as well. But I had, if those that are on Telegram, and I don't know what video that was that had, but we won't replay all that, but I had in there for set up as flyers for the roles of for Assembly Chair, Assembly Moderator, Marshal at Arms, the State Secretary. That is for the one for the state that would support with keeping the minutes of the and the agendas for the assembly, so that would be taken out from my hand so that would be handled, and moderator as well as treasurer. We also, because I had gotten an email from Terry, because as the Global Financial Group is getting our prosperity unions in play, which Indiana has a website already set up, and we've already got an email contact set up with them for the prosperity union. They're also opening up to be able to provide training to the coordinators, if they're pillar coordinators, a Global Family Group 528 Hertz coordinator, an assembly chair, treasurer, banking committee, SIA coordinator. These are all roles that we need people to actually step up and fill to support getting the bank, the Prosperity Union, actually moving forward for us here on Indiana. But again, you have to complete those status correction, and these are all going to be citizen roles, and they're all going to need a background check because they're dealing with money. It's trusted roles, right? So we need to get people stepping up to get that in place, because again, I can't as the state coordinator, I can't fill all the roles. It's called We the People for a reason, okay? And if you're still sitting around waiting for others to put it together, you're still waiting around, okay? If you want the movement to happen, you have to actively participate in getting that to happen. All right, the next thing is, let me screen share again. All right. Supplies are needed. File folders are needed. Page protectors, printer paper, printer ink, a 2 or 3, 4 drawer file cabinet needed. These are all supplies that you all should be helping to meet, because again, there are no funds coming from the federal government or any state agencies providing any grants, as well as there aren't employers that are doing any kind of deductions. You may be able to set that up, I don't know, but there is nothing like that. It's all based on you all supporting and providing every aspect of what's going on. And whatever is not filled, if the need has to be met at some point, I guess I have to fill it, and is that really fair to leave it all on one person to carry the whole load? You all want the services, and the services need to be available and to be able to provide to Indianians as they're coming online as well. So this is where you have to pitch in. It's all about we the people, for the people, by the people, by the people. That's what we all forget, is the by the people. That means you have to actively take part in making this happen. Okay? So just sitting around figuring, well, they'll figure it out, it'll just happen, it'll just come along. That's sloth mentality. Sloth means that you're not taking on the responsibility that you have. And that's part of being a part of this, okay? Not just sitting around doing nothing, waiting to find out what everybody else would be doing. You need to be stepping up and supporting. All right, next assembly meeting is June 1st, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I have a map here of the counties that we're working with. So far, the ones in yellow have at least said, hey, I want some more information. They may have put forward some information, but not quite enough yet for status correction. The ones in red have at least one that has status corrected on that county, and the ones that are green have 2 or more, which means then that county is live. So the goal is to get the entire state in green. So if you're already status corrected and you're close to the counties that are in yellow or even red, connect with them, especially the white ones. Say, hey, come on out. We need you to come to the calls. We need to start helping you and supporting you. You don't have to have all the answers. Just direct them to the website. Direct them to the TASA website, to the 50-state site, or have all the different one-pagers of the 5 different citizenship statuses, the flow of government, any of the charts that are on the Audubon Rights website for the blogs. It has right on top, there's a menu for charts, and read it directly off of that if you want something from them to be able to give them and share information with them. And that's something that if you didn't know for sure, you can say, well, let's look at it together, right? You don't have to have all the answers before you move. So many people are so afraid they think they have to have all the knowledge before they can talk to anybody. And that's why you're still not getting very far. This is also to help encourage you to learn and reach out and start talking to the people in your community. We are the militia. That's our people. Getting to know our community. All right. We also need people that are ASCs to actually stand up and start supporting the business pillar of handling the business that's what because Indianians come to the General Assembly call. Preferably, we're supposed to have, as an email was sent out to everyone that was providing the Assembly agenda 2 weeks prior. This is what's successful on Ohio Assembly, is putting the agenda out 2 weeks prior so that others have the opportunity to present to add to the agenda, and not a one of you have responded with anything or even a sounds good. That would be great to be able to talk about what's being presented on the agenda. But there was no response. That's the same kind of mentality as a U.S. citizen of just sitting around and not taking an active role in participating. Okay? Emailing to complain about something is not actively that's just trying to bring up issues of a problem rather than trying to help problem solve. And we need problem solvers. We need people willing to step up and actually start doing things. Here are a list of committees and a brief overview of what those committees do, as well as this link here, recommended committee structures. It gives more detail about what's needed on those committees. But again, you have to have all the cancellation letters. That includes submitting the IRS copies of what you sent to IRS DC and New York. We have some people that think they can just pick one, but it has to go to both because they're serving, even though it's the same man, they're serving 2 different capacities. So you have to send to both. And then you have to present the letter as well as the proof of postage that it was sent. That's all you have to do is prove that you've done it. If you don't get a green card back, that's fine. A lot of times you won't get a green card back. But your proof is that you have that postage receipt that has the matching numbers that it was mailed. Okay? And that then also supports you if you have other things that you have to deal with from that aspect. But it's called follow-through. You can't just do part of it and think that's enough. You have to actually cancel those. Now, if you are a federal person, you can status correct as a federal person, but you lawfully and legally owe the taxes. So you can't do the cancellation letters for IRS because you actually owe them. That's the U.S. citizen is responsible for the taxes in the debt contract of the Constitution. That's why you don't want to be the U.S. citizen, because that's why they hold you accountable for the debt. Just some things of, you got to be able to bring these things forward. The hardest part is getting the paperwork dealt with and get it set. I see we have someone else on the call. Please let us know your name and your county so we can make sure and include you on the call.
Karen, Miami County.
I'm Miami County. And who is this?
Karen.
Karen. Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Really good. Thank
awesome.
you.
Great to see you. Or hear you. Star 6 on the phone to be able to mute and unmute. All right. We'll go ahead, and it's good that you did make it to the call. All right. So here's a list of, we need people actively serving on these committees. It's going to mean you have to do some work. You're not going to know up front. But a lot of these, there's training. But you have to get vetted to be able to be on the committees, so that you then can be able to access the training from the Federation to be able to serve in these capacities. And so it's not like you're going to be left totally out there and trying to figure all of it out. There's training to support. But you have to get to that point. You have to actually finish the paperwork and step up. And those on the committee, those participating on committees, those are not elected roles, other than if you're going to be a committee chair or committee secretary, committee treasurer, and then I think it's the committee itself that does that election aspect of it. But there are also other members that sit on the committee that are participants in working. It doesn't mean that you get to sit on the committee just so you can have your name to state that you're on the committee, but you don't actually bring anything to the table. We're here to actually work through the problems. Here's also for the General Assembly committees. There's also litigation committee training. Here's details to be able to support that, as well as if you're having issues with the courts. There's due process. Christy Leeper and Doug Minnick on Washington have been doing a regular training on going through due process and learning that. Start attending the calls. Start learning due process. That will be helpful if you're wanting to support the General Assembly and committees with the General Assembly. Here's also more information for litigation support. As I had stated earlier, we have people on Indiana that are sitting in jails right now, and we have no one on a litigation committee that could, or a status-corrected sheriff that could be able to go talk to them, or a status-corrected minister, because a status-corrected minister can go to the jails and talk with the Indianians. We have no one to be able to go support them. They're sitting out there. I can't go do that. That is not the role of the state coordinator. You stay in your lane, right? That's why you need people. We need people to step up that can be able to support that process. And then, of course, here is the militia, the Assembly militia, and committees that are needed on this as well. A reminder of CERT training. And this is for community emergency response training. Okay, we are the community. Any one of the state first responders will tell you that you are the first responder. They can't move until they've been deployed. I've brought this up many a times. We've right at the December 30th of 2015, there was a house fire. We were downtown Indianapolis. The fire station is literally, we could see it 3 doors down, but they couldn't could not move. They couldn't even start getting ready until I got our children safe and our dog and cat at our neighbors for me to call 911 for the 911 operator to dispatch them out. Whereas the militia, we can move. We can help immediately. We need people to step up and want to support the training. They need the training on this aspect. It's a basic training, as well as we need people to start wanting to come to help support building the Assembly Militia. An email was also sent out about getting together to start with the Assembly Militia training. Nobody bothered to respond. I saw where people had opened the emails, but nobody bothered to respond that they were ready to start just coming to the calls to start with training. These are all things, just opening the email is not supportive. You have to actually step up and help. Again, I can't do all the roles. I don't want to do all the roles, and I'm not supposed to do all the roles. That's putting me in business that's none of my business, because my role is ensuring that everyone's status corrected correctly in order to be able to serve in the roles. And ensure that the assembly's that it's following the Federation training, ensuring that everyone is getting the Federation training to be able to support the roles that they're serving in. I'm not supposed to serve the roles, and if you're not standing up, it's not happening. And at what point do you say, hey, it's time to get things moving, and not just coming to the calls just to sit around to see who's done what so you can see when you can start playing. There's work that does have to be done. You got to get up and do it. All right. Here's a reminder. Here's the links on the website for the replays of the calls. So far, people haven't shown up for outreach or the general education calls. They've gone to the recordings to play back. But again, that's not going to serve you well unless you actually show up, especially the general education calls. Showing up. The video recordings are supposed to be if you really can't make it to the call, but then you also follow through with, if there's an call to action item in the call, do it. It doesn't mean, well, I listened to it, okay. That's doing no one any good. That's like we've got emails that have gone out with call to action items, but nobody followed through with doing the call to action items. That's the point of what a call to action is for you to actually move, get into action, to start doing things. Trying to help give you direction on starting somewhere. Many I do get that you don't know where to start and want to think that you have to have all the information before you can get to do anything and move on anything. But that's not the case. You have to show up so that you can even start learning about what needs to be done. You have to start showing up. You have to respond to the email, say, yes, I'm ready. How can I help? That's a great starter instead of just, oh, okay, and pass it on. It's for the people, by the people. It's the by the people that forms the republic. There are no paid positions. If you're looking for a paid position, go back to the state of state. We're the ones that are supporting bringing all this together. You have to stand up and do stuff. You have to show up. That's like coming to assembly calls. There's a lot that they go back to they watch the recordings afterwards. There's many that voted for the time slot and haven't shown up. That was the point of the vote, for you to select a time that you could meet, but then still not show up. So at some point you have to get involved. So what we started at last month's call, we've started going through the how to build an assembly. All right, this is Section 2, Formation of the American States Assembly. So we'll go ahead and get that going here. Peace be with you. Welcome. Today we'll take a closer look at Section 2 of How to Build an Assembly, focusing on the formation and role of the American States Assembly. This journey will walk you through constitutional history, the foundational concepts of sovereignty, the unique role of the Federation, and how individuals today can reclaim their lawful government. The summoning authority. There are 3 lawful ways to summon an assembly into session. First, a quorum of the state assemblies, but only the Texas Assembly was left standing. Second, President of the United States of America, but there's been no lawful sitting president since 1860. Or 3, a hereditary head of state. In 2015, James Clinton Belcher exercised his hereditary authority to issue the summons. What followed was extraordinary. All 50 states responded. This marked the reawakening of our original American government structure. Sovereignty, a sacred inheritance. In America, sovereignty isn't given by government. It's a unique gift. Nor is it granted by governments, but an inheritance passed down from nature and nature's God. This concept was solidified by William Belcher, ancestral line of James Clinton Belcher, who during the American Revolution, when he declared all Americans sovereign in their own right, putting every American on equal footing to any monarch. The Norman Conquest connection. This sovereignty stems from a historic lineage. During the Norman Conquest, barons held sovereignty under William the Conqueror. And you'll see this in this slide. We have the Bayeux Tapestry. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, but it gives the story of William the Conqueror. Fast forward to the Revolution, and William Belcher made sure that Americans would hold that same authority, not as subjects, but as free people. This legacy dismantled traditional feudalism. The role of the Federation. The Federation of States is the original lawful government, not a shadow entity. It's the heart of the American constitutional structure. As the original principle, it holds all powers delegated by the people and contracts with service providers, what we often call the federal government. Its role is to reclaim the powers from the federal government to ensure that constitutional responsibilities are fulfilled and the will of the people is honored. And in our chart is an updated version of the flow, albeit, and you'll see that the people are, even though they're at the top of the chart, they're at the base of that pyramid of sorts, triangle section, because we are a bottom-up government. Purpose of government. Let's not forget the purpose of government is not to control, but to protect the people and their assets. That's it. If government focuses on those 2 objectives, we have peace and prosperity, thus keeping us aligned with our foundational mission. It's when it strays that problems arise. The right to assemble. The right to peaceably assemble is sacred and enshrined in the founding principles. As we rebuild our assemblies, it's crucial that participants meaning those that are actively participating, not just coming to calls, but actively participating, are declared and qualified, filled with commitment, knowledgeable members, and that the structure reflects lawful American governance. This is how we bring our states into session. Where is the government? Most people think the federal government in D.C. is the seat of power, but the actual American government has always remained in Philadelphia. What operates in Washington is a service provider under contract, one that we, the people, can control. Your inherited status. Each of us was born with sovereign status, but through a series of contracts and assumptions, we've been pulled into the sea jurisdiction of corporate law. Reclaiming our rightful place on the land and soil means stepping back into our power and saying no to being treated as chattel, thereby reasserting our lawful standing and ending involuntary subjection. The Belcher legacy. The Belcher family has endured great persecution while protecting the true symbols of American sovereignty, including the Great Seals, as we see on our slide. If you'll notice, there's no circle in there. Their legacy and the lawful authority they preserved reminds us that the power of the people has never disappeared. It's only been obscured. Final call to action. The time has come to remember who we are. You are not a subject of the British Crown or a number in a corporate database. You are a sovereign American, equal to any ruler in history. This isn't a title, it's a duty. Let's step into our rightful roles and restore the government we are owed. Let's assemble. All right. So let's go ahead. The last thing then on the agenda was to look at the schedule. Hold on just a moment and let me get that pulled up. Any thoughts on that training there? Can you hear me? Hello? I hear you. Okay. Any thoughts on the on that information?
I didn't have any particular ones, no.
Okay. All right. We'll go ahead and move forward. This is part of why we have to actually take action, get involved, and participate. All right. So let's go ahead and go with the schedule. Hold on just a moment. All right, so here is, even though the assembly schedule is on the website, and I'll go ahead and go there. When you go to the home page where it has the Indiana Assembly, drop down Assembly Schedule. Come forward, hold on. Here we go. All right, so it's on the assembly schedule for each month. It's here, but since that's been a little bit of a difficulty, I went ahead and then sent out an email 2 weeks prior, and then followed again with the assembly agenda items to to get information from nationals and citizens about in process. If anything else needed to be added to the Assembly agenda, as well as any thoughts on if you wanted to adjust this from even monthly to quarterly, or because, like, for example, the Ohio Assembly does more during the winter aspect, so that their farmers can be available during the summer to be able to take care of their needs. And nobody responded to that of giving any kind of suggestions on whether to move forward to a quarterly or any form like that for a General Assembly schedule. So I'd like to hear those that are on the call. What is your thoughts on the Assembly? We've got to actually, we want to be able to make it to where you're actually going to be able to show up for the calls, but also not just show up, but actually be ready to conduct business, to actually be able to participate instead of it just being listen to Christine all the time. Any thoughts on the schedule?
May I?
Yes, please.
Well, I don't know. I think just to keep everyone up to date, I like the once a month. I think 3 months, every 3 months would be a little bit more difficult.
Well, but keeping everyone up to date once a month isn't helpful if nobody responds to bring things forward to even be able to address on the Assembly calls. The Assembly calls are not supposed to be all about still training. It's supposed to be actually bringing forward business to the table for then the committees to actually start working with.
But don't you think that it would be more likely that people would step up if you continued it once a month? That hopefully, that they would come. More of them would come to step up and help.
Well, that was the thought, but we were doing it weekly for a long, long time and have been doing it monthly for quite a while. And you see still only a handful are even coming to the table, let alone willing to even speak up about anything. So I can't force anybody to do anything. All I can do is try to figure out, well, what is a better way to be able to bring people to the table?
Well, do we have any participation on any committees at all?
No.
None?
No.
Well,
and that's why, because everybody's still waiting around for someone else to do the work.
Okay.
I can't fill these roles.
I know that, but I thought that we had a couple committees anyway.
No.
I thought we had like a treasurer.
Nope. Nope, there has not been a treasurer. Not at all.
And wasn't there a gentleman that did outreach a long time ago?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
We've only had a couple of people that stood up and served as recording secretaries, and that didn't last long because they wanted to get paid more money.
Oh. Well, that's a volunteer position, so.
Right. They're all volunteer positions. That's part of it, too. They all are seeking a full-time pay, but not supporting in any other way to make that happen either. We're nowhere near ready to support any kind of a salary for any roles. It's all volunteer.
Right. So I guess we were one of the states that is really far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you can see from many want to just watch, they're looking for the show. They're wanting to sit back and watch everybody else, watch others do work, but nobody's stepping up to do the work, and they feel that, well, I don't have enough information, I don't have enough education to do it. Well, some of these roles, once you've stepped up for the roles, then we can enact the federation level training to support the training.
Okay, so people, like, I didn't know that. So I think that probably is part of why people don't want to volunteer. As you said, they don't know enough. I mean, I've been listening to videos and replays for 2 years now, and I still feel like I can't,
like I said,
yeah, I
once
can't
you
put
step
into
up
words.
into the roles, then federation training can actually start actively supporting that training and gaining that knowledge.
Okay,
But you
so
can't. You have to prove. You have to do the status correction and then go through the vetting process.
So what you're saying then is, if people volunteered for a role, that the federation would then take over and train them if they were accepted for that role.
People they have to finish their status correction, then they step up for a role. If it's like some of these roles are elected positions, so the assembly has to do a vote to elect them in. And then, and of course, a vetting process has to occur. There has to be a background check, and especially dealing with money, they have to do a finance background. Many have a problem with that, but they forget that the state of state, they have made up issues on things. It's only if you've actually caused harm or caused property damage, and how long ago was it?
Okay.
But you still have to be vetted. It's not just we're just stepping up. Then some of these roles, now committee roles, doesn't require the assembly vote, but they have to step up, and they'll have to be vetted, and that's when then federation training occurs.
Right. Okay. So, but what I'm saying is, after all the vetting and all that, the background check and whatever, the federation in the end will train them in that position, correct?
Yes, there's training available, yes.
Okay.
But that's been presented, but as far as the information as to what we do here on Indiana, as to what work has to be done, you have to bring it forward. It has to be brought forward to the table.
Okay. Well, that helps a lot, I think.
Okay, so back to the question about the schedule. Like I said, people weren't showing up for the weekly. We had a vote to go to monthly and day and time, and many voted for the day and time, and many still haven't shown up. And there are some that they just simply don't like me. Well, the quicker we get the assembly seated, or get others that are supporting as coordinators to be able to help support with pillar coordination, county coordination, things like that, the less I'm in the picture even. Because my role, state coordinator, sunsets once the assembly steps up. I'm not the one doing the work.
Well, that's the other thing. If people would step up and be on their committees or whatever, then, that would be an agenda item also.
Right. Because there are things that the General Assembly brings to the table at the General Assembly that puts the committees to work.
Right.
Okay. Thank you very much. Those were great questions to bring forward on that. Cindy, is there anyone else that has any ideas on the schedule? And this is why all of our hands are tight. All right, so we'll go ahead. I guess we're not getting much further here, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. So the next, do we have someone that is willing to adjourn, to give the first motion to adjourn for June the 1st? Okay, hold on, we got a comment. I'm afraid that a quarterly meeting may be easier to miss and not make up. Well, the point is getting people to the calls. So, and also participating, not just, we got to start participating. There's call to action items that are sent out in emails, as well as you can always email and say, okay, how can I help? What is there that you need done that needs to get done? How can I help? There's a lot, but you have to step up. You have to step, and then there are those that will say they want to support, but then you never hear from them again. So,
well, may I? Another thing that really helped me, I have not received emails from you on a regular basis, but this last 2 weeks I received quite a few.
Right, and that's because I've been had to change the email system again, because many have Gmail accounts that Gmail is blocking the emails, or their email inbox are full, and so Gmail is bouncing them out.
Well,
but the website has the Assembly agenda. The website people need to be going to the Assembly website to also keep current with what's going on.
I agree, but it was very helpful, the emails, I guess, was my point. So.
Right, and good, because that also lets me know that you are receiving, because I ended up moving towards using what's called Email Octopus, because the LRO was kicking back a lot. I was getting over 200 undeliverable emails.
Oh, no.
Every time an email went through. Then I was also, because I made sure that, because I have the Assembly's record within the LRO as well, so I've got it with using the state cord at the IndianaAssembly.org email. I was getting those, and then my personal, I purposely used a Gmail email address so that I can see what's going on with Gmail, and there were emails that I wasn't getting even though it was being sent to everyone on the state. So I had to find another service to be able, and that's a free service through the Federation to be able to support the emails, but Google was blocking.
Oh.
So I was sitting with every time an email would go through, there would be over 200 undeliverable emails back in my inbox saying that they were undeliverable. So I went through the process I found another email service provider, and at this point it's $9 a month to keep that going, and there's very limited funds coming in that's keeping the free conference call links up to be able to have access to the video recordings afterwards. That's monthly, fees on that. There's the to be able to, I had already was paying for booking and a video service that was set up through the booking, and I cut that off and went back to free conference call for the videos, but still a booking service to be able to get, because people want to schedule 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night where they wanted to look at and set up a schedule, so that way it's available to them. There's fees on that. There's fees for the emails. There are regular fees. There's mega fees, and to be able to keep all the links going on through the website and through the emails and everything to be able to hold the information. There's a lot of regular monthly services that very little is even contributing to support that. And again, we still have to support being able to keep the recording services. I mean, file folders still need to be available to be able to put Nationals records together, because we have to have a hard copy. I'm maintaining a state copy and a county copy. So I have to be able to also print 2 copies of everybody's documents to maintain state and county copies, because most are not wanting to send additional copies. So there's file folders, there's page protectors, there's ink for the printer. I've had to replace 2 or 3 printers to be able to still be able to keep hard copies of the documents. Having internet service, there's regular fees monthly that occur that still have to be covered, and people are not supporting in that way either. So we have to remember it's of, by, and for the people. There's no money coming from anywhere, from any other services that is just available. So these are all ways that can definitely help support. I know there are many people out there, they just have a paranoia about wanting to give any money, and so I've said, but then have file folders shipped. Have the page protectors, have the ink sent directly. Then you know it's getting used for what you're wanting it to be used for. But these are supplies that are still needed to maintain to keep the records in place. And once a state secretary and the state recorder gets online, then they will be taking over the state level, and the Marshal at Arms helps to support with keeping those records safe. And then also once the counties start getting established, the counties then will have their copies. So there's things that everybody can be doing to help support. And many a times emails go out that provide that information as to what needs need to be met. And only one time has anyone ever responded for any needs was when I actually sent an email out through the state, directly through the state coordinator email out when the annual website fee was due. And 2 people responded to pay. And 2 people paid to help with supporting to get the website covered for the year. I've put the information out of supporting through in the regular emails. Nobody responds. Nobody replies. Nobody comments. Nobody follows through. So I don't know how else to be able to help bring these things forward, to bring forward the support. But anyway, we'll go ahead, because that's just taking up more time that is not directly related to the assembly call. So do we have a motion to go ahead and adjourn to June 1st, 7 p.m. Central?
I have a motion to adjourn.
For June the 1st?
June 1st at 7 p.m.
Okay. Cindy on St. Joseph. And who else did I hear? Was that Karen?
Yes, Karen.
And I see that Wayne has popped up as well. All right. Okay, Karen on here, on Miami, and Wayne's on Miami as well. Oh, so I'm going to put Karen and Wayne. All right. Okay, so all the ayes for adjourning till June the 1st, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Everyone say aye. It's
Aye.
Aye.
okay. And any nays? Any abstain? All right. So we have, how many do we, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Oh, we got 6 because we have Terry with Wayne. All right, and it is 8:24 p.m. All right, everyone. Thank you very much, and let me take a moment and get this chat popped in so we can have it for the record. When the call is over, I will have the agenda and the recording information posted on the website, so it'll be there for the recording afterwards. And I do have Anna's articles listed here for the last month, which, by the way, there's two. Citizen means you owe service to the government, and international public notice why we cannot relax and enjoy the show. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being on the call. Great points were brought up. Thank you, Cindy, definitely for digging in on helping to be able to bring more information forward on that. On how to be able to bring more support in, and with the schedule. And thank you also, Wayne, for your points on the schedule as well. All right, everyone, have a great evening. And again, if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to step up to support, please email me. You know how to reach me, and hopefully the new email system will work better, as well as I'm streamlining it too to try and narrow down so there won't be a whole bunch all the time either. So, all right, everyone, have a great evening. Peace and love.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Take care.
Night.
Good night.